So with that, I would like to introduce Amir Izadi, who is joined the California Department of Transportation in 2017. He has worked in the District 3 in project development in the North Region Construction Office and the North Region Construction Office, where he designed and inspected several key projects throughout the Sacramento region. Amir has also worked for the headquarters traffic safety investigations team within the Division of Safety Programs, where he managed several efforts, including run off the road, wrong way, and crossover crash monitoring programs. Amir is now in the Office of Traffic Management, where he serves as the headquarters CHIM coordinator. And I am so delighted that Amir is at Caltrans. And with that, Amir, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you so much, Jim. Can you guys hear me okay?
We can.
Excellent. And good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all for having me. As mentioned, my name is Amir Izadi, and I work in the Office of Traffic Management, Traffic Operations here at the California Department of Transportation. And joining me here today is my branch senior, Mahesh Pandey. Next slide, please. And one more, next slide, please. Okay, so before I get into our planned activities for Crash Responder Safety Week 2025, I want to spend some time by grounding us in the scale of the environment we work in. Um, I feel that understanding the size and complexity of our transportation system is really critical to understanding the risks and responsibilities we face, especially when it comes to responder safety. So to kick us off, California is home to roughly 40 million people. And so that kind of population density brings an enormous demand on our roadways. And with it, increased exposure for both the traveling public and for crash responders operating in or near our active traffic. Statewide, we have approximately 400,000 lane miles of roadway, including interstate highways, arterials, etc. And then California drivers rack up over 328 billion vehicle miles traveled each year. So that number alone gives you a sense of the traffic volume that we're dealing with. And it also reflects the magnitude of risk faced by responders and engineers, et cetera, who work in that right of way. And then as we zoom in a bit more, the state highway system accounts for 51,000 of those lane miles, and we have approximately 28 million licensed drivers, 25 of those light vehicles, and in total, roughly 35 plus or minus million fee paid registered vehicles in California. And so why do I show these numbers? Again, all of these help us understand the scale of what we're up against. Every time a crash occurs, especially on these high-speed facilities, there could be a ripple effect on traffic, on safety, and most importantly, on the men and women who respond. And so we play a crucial role in designing for safety, supporting incident response, and finding ways to protect those working on the front lines. And so wrapping this back up to Crash Responder Safety Week, as we reflect, let's just not think of safety in terms of statistics, right? Let's remember that behind every number is a responder, a worker, someone trying to make it home, and it's our job to help make that possible. Next slide, please. And you can click through. Thank you very much. Okay, so now that we've looked at the size and complexity of California's transportation system, let's talk about what that really means for responder safety. The good news is we're starting to see signs of progress. So according to the California Office of Traffic Safety, we see that statewide traffic fatalities have decreased nearly 11%. Now, that's a meaningful step in the right direction, but of course, it still represents, thousands of lives lost, and thousands of crash scenes where responders are potentially exposed to risk. And so one of the more sobering statistics to keep front and center is the threat of struck-by incidents. These are the second leading cause of accidental death among law enforcement officers and account for roughly 20% of on-duty firefighter fatalities every year. And on top of that, you can see that every minute a crash site remains active and unmitigated, the risk of secondary crash increases. And in fact, for every single minute that the primary incident is still a hazard, the chance of a secondary crash goes up by nearly 3%. So again, this is why rapid detection and response is so critical. The faster we can identify incidents, mobilize resources, and clear the scene safely, the more lives we can protect. And that's really what it's all about. Next slide, please. So when we talk about responder safety, it's important to ground the conversation in real outcomes. And I know Jim briefly touched on this actually. Um, and one of those real outcomes are fatality data. So this slide shows a snapshot of crash responder deaths, both in California and across the US for the past 3 years. So the numbers are tough, of course, but they serve as a powerful reminder of why this work matters and why Crash Responder Safety Week is so important. So as of mid-August of this year, we've already lost one responder here in California, a law enforcement officer, out of a total of 17, 17 nationwide. Now, compared to previous years, that's significantly lower, and it's a trend we hope continues. Fantastic. However, one fatality is still one too many. Um, we have to remind ourselves that these aren't just, abstract statistics. They're real people who have lost their lives doing their jobs on our roadways. And so this is where we come in. The way we design work zones, manage lanes during incidents, deploy detection, etc., um, we can directly impact whether a responder gets to go home at night at the end of their shift. So we really need to focus on that. And again, the goal here isn't just to reflect on these numbers, it's to use them. Um, use them to drive better engineering, use them to advocate for better systems, to build a transportation network where responders can do their jobs safely and where lives are protected at every level, from the scene of the crash all the way back to the control room. Next slide, please. And so when we think about traffic crashes, it's easy to focus on the vehicles or the people involved, but sometimes we overlook the massive response effort that follows, um, and ultimately the number of lives placed in harm's way just to clear and secure a single scene. So in California, a typical injury crash can bring together over a dozen responders from multiple disciplines. We often see law enforcement, fire and rescue, EMS, and then you add in towing and recovery, which are often conducted under very high risk conditions, particularly on freeways. And then from Caltrans alone, you might see 5 maintenance workers, a TMT driver, or a traffic management team who's responsible for deploying traffic control, managing the detours, and restoring normal operations. These workers are often among the first to arrive and the last to leave. So it's a multidisciplinary response, and it's essential, but it also means that every crash can turn into a multi-agency safety challenge. So we definitely need to remember that. Next slide, please. So all the data, the risk, the complexity that I've covered, it really leads to one key conclusion. We need well-trained, well-coordinated response system, and that starts with TIM training. Um, Obviously, we have the incredible federal highway TIM training, but on top of that, California has developed an online training that addresses the laws, procedures, and tools responders need to stay safe. and keep our roads moving here in California. So again, this training is specific to California, and it covers everything from move over laws, the California MUTCD, tow laws, etc. Next slide, please. So next, I wanted to briefly discuss our Caltrans Quick Map software and how it relates to Crash Responder Safety Week. I truly do feel this is very important and directly supports this effort. Um, so this was developed a while back, but Caltrans provides Quick Map as a service to help motorists determine the best route to travel in real time and as a tool to reduce congestion due to incidents and construction activities. So some of the goals we like to achieve with Quick Map: provide current real-time info, which ultimately enables the traveling public to make informed choices; prevent secondary collisions um, by them having this real-time information, uh, or the congested areas ahead, knowing of those; of course, reducing traffic delays and reduce traffic congestion at recurring or non-recurring locations by providing advanced notification. So these are some of the goals. But on the left side of the screen, you see different layers that can be presented through the use of checkboxes that enable that information layer to be displayed on the screen. For example, you see layers for lane closures, CHP incidences, message signs, CCTV cameras, rest areas. And then if you click on that icon, there is a descriptive informational box presented via pop-up box. And so with that, we've developed Quick Map into applications for mobile devices, Android, Apple, as well as the website as well. And so we're always looking at ways to enhance this software, this program, to attract more people to use Quick Map. We feel it's so beneficial for the traveling public. Um, Initially, Quick Map was provided for traffic speed information, lane, road closures, CMS information, but over the years it has really evolved, and we've incorporated additional layers such as snow plows, rest areas, and we're looking to add even more layers such as commercial truck routes, and a popular hot topic lately has been charging stations. Um, and ultimately just adding alert features to Quick Map to better inform motorists of what is going on the highway system. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, if you select the icon on the map, you'll see additional information regarding that specific incident or CMS sign. So here we can see the details of a single CHP incident pulled from CHP CAD, as well as the exact verbiage of the CMS sign on the right-hand side. Next slide, please. And again, the same thing goes for a single highway information icon, which is the orange cone, as well as live footage of the CCTV camera. Next slide, please. And so just to give you all very brief background information of how Quick Map works behind the scenes, um, in the top rectangular box, you can see that we have various sources of data and where they are coming from. And this is all, really put together by our IT team. We work very closely with them. So for example, CHP incidents come directly from CHP CAD. You have CCTV and CMS data coming from the CWWP2, which is the commercial wholesale web portal. Real-time traveler information is fed there and third parties can extract. We have chain control coming from TM Cal, and essentially all of this gets aggregated into Quick Map. Next slide, please. Okay, so now, how does this kind of connect to CRSW, right? As mentioned, Quick Map gives both the public and professionals real-time visibility into traffic conditions, lane closures, emergency incidents. All of this includes CHP activity, crashes, debris. It aggregates and displays live incident data along with clearance times, so drivers can understand not only what's ahead, but potentially how long it might take to resolve. This kind of transparency gives drivers the opportunity to slow down and move over, right? Which is our theme essentially, or to take an alternate route well before they encounter the flashing lights and cones. And what makes Quick Map even more powerful is um, the push notifications that we have developed. So the app uses geolocation to notify users when they're approaching an incident or a closure within about 10 miles. And of course, Quick Map integrates camera feeds and highway messages, so responders and motorists can see what's happening in real time. Um, During Crash Responder Safety Week, we talk a lot about the message, slow down, move over. Quick Map helps operationalize that message. It doesn't just rely on, signage or good intentions. It delivers timely, location-specific data that lets people make informed choices before they reach a danger zone. And ultimately that means fewer secondary crashes, less exposure for responders, and smoother traffic management for everyone involved. Next slide, please. Okay, so looking back at CRSW 2024, here at Caltrans, we made strong strides, without a doubt, in outreach, awareness, advocacy, to protect those who respond on our roadways. And so one of the most visible efforts was the use of changeable message signs across the state. These signs displayed the move over to crash responders message on hundreds of highways. Um, and it serves as a very powerful real-time reminder for drivers to slow down and be alert around incident scenes. Um, and we want to reinforce that safe driving behavior. It's very important. And in addition to the signage, we released a video announcement from our director, which helped personalize the message and elevate its visibility across agencies and to the public. And that video was part of a broader social media campaign that ran throughout the week, pushing the slow down, move over message to wider audiences, encouraging greater engagement. Um, and then, of course, we issued formal press releases with some of our local partners to help broaden the message to media outlets and partners. And we also maintained a website presence as well. And of course, we always like to amplify the importance of the national TIM training. And so these accomplishments helped raise awareness not just during Crash Responder Safety Week, but throughout the year. We need to understand that every second counts when it comes to protecting crash responders and improving traffic incident safety across California. Next slide, please. And so here we see, a CMS sign from 2024 displaying that specific verbiage, as well as on the right-hand side, the banner that we use on the Caltrans websites. Next slide, please. A few other accomplishments from last year. We had many social media posts, and of course, social media and our press releases. PIO plays a huge role, which I will touch on our next slide. But we had social media posts by both Caltrans and CHP. We had local news reports, in this case, Lake County, Golden Gate Media, as well as a promo from CHP via social media as well. Next slide, please. Okay, so now for Crash Responder Safety Week 2025. We have some very big, important plans to build on the momentum from last year. So first and foremost, we are working diligently on securing a formal proclamation from the governor to recognize and highlight the week, which of course will give the campaign so much added visibility at the state level. And we're actually also requesting the governor to put out a very brief video message in addition to the proclamation. Now, as you can all imagine, getting to the governor's office may not be an easy feat. So I would highly recommend and encourage everyone to begin this formal request very early on in the process. For us, we initiated the governor's request a few months ago, and we are slowly moving up the chain of command. So we have to get signatures all the way from the top of Caltrans to CalSTA, all the way to the governor's office, which takes a lot of time. But we're hoping a 6-month runway will be enough to secure these requests. In addition, we're also hoping to secure a brief video message from our Caltrans director, which will again help personalize and reinforce the safety message. We're fairly confident that this will be accomplished, and again, many signatures are required, so please start this process early on as well. Highly recommend. Again, one of the key tools that we'll be using this year are the changeable message signs, which will be deployed statewide and across all 12 districts in California to remind drivers to slow down and move over when responders are working on the road. And of course, social media, huge these days, right? So it's going to continue to be a big part of the effort. Messaging on platforms like Facebook, X, local media to reach as many people as possible. And that's the key. We want to reach as many people as possible. And social media nowadays, what better platform? Now, I do want to stop here and discuss the importance of our public affairs office, PIO. Um, Within Caltrans, PIO plays such an instrumental role in developing all public messaging when it comes to social media campaigns, press releases, website presence, newsletters, even coordinating local TV, radio spots. Our PIO is directly involved. So I would highly recommend you reaching out to your PIO very early on in the process to develop a game plan. Um, for us here at Caltrans, for about 3, 4, 5 months leading up to November, we hold biweekly meetings with our PIO coordinator to make sure everything remains on track, or if any questions come up, or if there are any hurdles, and overall just a way to, as I mentioned, game plan and execute that plan. Um, and I want to mention that PIO also coordinates with our local partners, such as OTS, CHP, DMV. So please rely on them and work together to make this effort successful, because in my experience, PIO has been instrumental. And then um, radio and TV broadcasts, enforcement campaigns, newsletters, all of these will be part of Caltrans' strategy this year to get the message out broadly. And then looking ahead, Caltrans is planning our next TMC Academy, typically held in twice a year, typically held in October, but will likely occur in early to mid 2026 this year. But it focuses on improving responder coordination, safety skills, etc. And then we also, of course, plan to maintain a presence on the web, likely through a banner or a dedicated page. And of course, in partnership with other agencies like OTS, CHP, DMV, Caltrans will issue a joint press release to highlight the importance of the week and encourage public engagement. And again, PIO plays a huge role in developing that joint press release. And again, I know I've emphasized this, but I highly encourage everyone to work with many local partners as possible. For example, here at Caltrans, we're working with the Metropolitan Transportation Committee, Commission, MTC, and the Bay Area Incident Management Task Force, which will help further emphasize Crash Responder Safety Week. So we're hoping to develop joint press releases with these great local partners, and all of this can only do good for the responders and for the traveling public. And so just as an FYI as well, the Bay Area Incident Management Task Force, they're going to be holding their annual 2025 TIM Summit in Oakland on October 7th, where they're going to be demonstrating a live hazmat crash demo, a walkthrough of a stage incident scene, practicing hands-on response. It's going to be a very realistic setting. So working together with these local partners is such a wonderful thing. It'll help us promote Crash Responder Safety Week by spreading the word, and it's a way for all of us to come together, which I can't stress enough. And then lastly, one other concept we're trying to accomplish this year is working with DMV to display Crash Responder Safety Week messaging in DMV offices on their in-office screens during that specific week. So that is something that we are hoping to accomplish as well. But to wrap things up, overall, here at Caltrans, we're taking a comprehensive, multi-channeled approach to make sure these safety messages resonate and ultimately help save lives during not only during Crash Responder Safety Week, but throughout the entire year. Um, Next slide, please. And that is all for me. Again, I thank you all for your time, and yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Amir. A wonderful presentation with so many good points. You really have knocked it out of the park. Kudos to Mahesh and you and the entire team. I mean this sincerely. The Everybody, starts out differently. States, what I'm referring to, states as far as their plans for CRSW or any other initiative, but Caltrans has really stepped up and, I like everybody to, you know, imagine the scenario. Imagine a scenario where you go home this afternoon and you hear that one of your family members or a close friend or colleague was just involved in a crash and they have life-threatening injuries. This is serious business that we're in. And every one of us, all 89 of you that are here today, right now on this webinar, has a certain amount of influence and power, if you will, to make a difference to all the points that you made, Amir, whether it's training, whether it's any of any of any of the different points that you made um, to share the importance of saving lives. Really, it really boils down to saving lives. The audience here, I'm sure, has heard me say in the past that, for example, move over laws, it's still a pretty high percentage. I'm going to put it at around 60%. It used to be higher, actually, up in the 70s. 60% of the motoring public is unaware what their move over laws are. And that's not me making that up. That's from AAA and that's from NHTSA studies that have been conducted. And so it behooves all of us to do our part and educate the public. So, Amir, thank you very much. I'm going to try here now. Kevin, what's the next slide after Amir here? Is it the okay? I apologize. Now go back. You were fine where you were with him. So Amir, I have two questions for you. If anyone has other questions, uh, Kelly Claver is on my contractor team. Kelly can read them out as well. But I'll start with a question for you, Amir, that simply says the social media and local news campaign examples you shared are impressive. Can you talk a little bit about the process for getting the local news articles published?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm fairly new in my role, so I wasn't here last year when we accomplished those things. But what I do know is we work extremely close with PIO. PIO is absolutely the go-to for anything local television or radio as well. They have all the contacts. So what we do is we work with PIO to provide the information that we want to share and distribute. PIO has the contacts to reach out, and they will come up with something essentially. Share what we would like to distribute to California, to the local news stations, the radio, etc. And perhaps we'll share or have a meeting with the local news and radio stations and kind of explain what we are trying to accomplish. And then from there, PIO will work hand in hand with the radio stations. So ultimately, when it comes to public messaging, I would say we relay the information to public affairs, and public affairs kind of takes it from there. And that's why I stress the importance of working directly with them, because they honestly help so much.
Yes, absolutely. Another one regarding the video, you mentioned in effort to try to get you're the Caltrans director,
Yes,
and you did it last year too, I believe, right? Putting together
correct.
a video. What was the level of effort for that one, for that kind of activity?
You know, what I would stress is the time, right? The timing of it. It takes a while. What we did this year to try to expedite the process is by writing the script. So I developed the script for the Caltrans director, and of course, it'll get redlined. They'll mark it up and change it how they
Sure.
please. But we try to get everything done for them as far as perhaps images that they would want to throw in the video, the script, and then we go through a very comprehensive process requiring a number of signatures, which is why I mentioned it takes so much time, from the Office of Traffic Management to the head of traffic operations, all the way to the top. So it takes it could take months, but we felt that if we developed the script, provided the images and the concept of what we're trying to accomplish, it might expedite the process a little bit. So the level of effort is somewhat high as far as timing goes, but it's well worth it. Well worth it,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that.
of course.
And the you're preaching to the choir to me. Establishing the solid relationships with your PIO, public affairs, CIOs early on was something that I saw even back before I joined the Federal Highway Administration's TIM program. I see them as allies to be able to uh, magnify, amplify the word of Tim and of the Tim program. And you really can't put a price on that. And if you establish a good relationship with those people in your agency, in your state, even with just what, 10 weeks, approximately 10 weeks before CRSW, um, that's 2 months, 2 weeks. Um, there's still time
Absolutely.
to do really great things. So,
Absolutely.
uh,
I couldn't agree more. And like I mentioned during the presentation, we're holding bi-weekly meetings with our PIO coordinator, and it truly keeps us on track, on schedule, and it's helping us execute everything we're trying to accomplish. Because, as you saw, the list is long of all the things that we want to succeed at this year. But if we have those scheduled meetings, we're attacking those every single week, and we can track progress. It's been helpful, and we're going to continue that until November 17th.
yes, sir. Well, Amir, thanks again for the wonderful presentation and all you're doing. I know Mahesh is on the call again, or with us here. And so many thanks to Mahesh as well and the whole entire Caltrans team.
Hey,
So,
Absolutely.
Jim, we do
yes,
have a
Kelly.
question for Amir and all of you. What public safety messages on DMS signs have you found to be effective and received positive feedback from the public?
That's a great question. I think last year, the main message that we displayed on the CMS boards was essentially the theme, slow down and move over. I think as far as this year goes, we were leaning towards sticking to that theme as well. But I think that's something that we're going to take back to our management and see if we want to change it up and if there's anything perhaps better to share on the CMS boards. And like I mentioned, we want to kind of expand that into DMV offices as well and on their in-office television boards. So we will kind of look into that and see what other options we have as far as public safety messages. But to answer your question directly, Raghu, what we've done in the past, from my understanding, is we've stuck to that theme message, slow down and move over. And of course, we've received great feedback.